started to wonder, and I wondered, which led me to wonder. I had to wonder. I started to wonder. I couldn't help but 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 wonder.
What's up, gamers with a capital G? I'm your host, Stephanie, and Donald Trump is Pokemon going to die. Not a threat, just a fact.
And my name is Alex, aka Mr. Big Wet President.
Oof, sexy name.
Thank you.
Love it. This whole episode is just really sexy. You know, it's we're on season 2, episode 8. It's called The Man, the Myth, the Viagra.
Yeah, so you know it's getting sexy. We have some sexy people in this episode.
We get we get to add to our sexy ass tally. We get to add to our sexy cameo tally. This is just, I have so much to say about this episode, and I don't even know why. Because like a lot happened, but also a lot didn't really, I don't know.
Yeah, a lot happened, but the plot did not advance. Everyone is still in more or less the same position that they started in, so.
Well, there's one character I would maybe disagree with, because we do get the introduction of a brand new character this episode who's going to be with us for a while.
Until the movies.
Yep, we get a new character who's a new love interest, but not for Carrie, unfortunately. But I guess we'll get into it when we get there. I guess we should just jump into this episode because we've got so much to say about it.
Yeah, let's just go.
All right. So, okay, we open the episode and Carrie is out with Big. She's like, her voiceover says, we were two having a little time, it's whatever. And they're arriving at this like Italian restaurant, I guess. And like Carrie looks beautiful. She has a strapless red dress on. She's got a nameplate necklace on. And Big looks exactly the same as he always.
Yeah, they're in this like cartoon Italian restaurant. They're in the restaurant from Lady and the Tramp.
They extremely are. Yeah, like I guess Big knows, I don't know if this is the owner, but whoever they like hug, and Big makes some kind of joke about him gangster, and then this guy seats them, so he guess he works there, and Big introduces Carrie as his girlfriend.
And she's like, oh, that's the first time you've ever called me your girlfriend. And he said, yeah, in front of you. Which,
yeah, and then he does these eyebrows at her face, and
he does have a lot of eyebrow.
Carrie's face just lights up when he says the girlfriend. Like, at the point of their relationship that they're at, they've collectively been dating for, what, a year and a half, maybe, in all little time put together? I don't know.
Yeah.
But they've been dating for way too long.
Because, like, last episode, she said they've been dating for a year, and I don't know if that's including the time before they broke up, because I feel like that shouldn't count.
Yeah, I really have no idea. The timeline is very wacky, but at this point, it's a little bit ridiculous for her to be this excited about him saying the word girl, but
it's very depressing, like every single one of their interactions.
Yes, extreme. Yeah, Big does the absolute bare minimum. Carrie lights up. It's sad, but...
But true.
This part was like really weird because like, okay, so yeah, it is a very like cartoonishly Italian restaurant because there's like the guy who seated them is like singing some kind of opera, and then I don't know if this is like karaoke or what, but then Big gets up to sing a song.
I don't think it is karaoke. I think he's like hired by the restaurant, but like Big knows them well, so he can just get up and sing.
I think so, yeah. And so he gets up and dedicates the song to the lovely lady, Carrie. And then he starts to sing, which is...
awful.
Yeah. So he starts singing Sinatra. So I had to look this song up because I don't fucking Sinatra, because I'm not 80, but...
No, I know the song. I didn't know it was called just... It Was a Very Good Year, but that's the song.
Yeah, that's the song. Did you look up the lyrics at all, or do you know the lyrics?
I sort of vaguely know the song. I couldn't tell you the lyrics. Why are they buck wild?
No, but I looked them up because I wanted to know what song this was. And part of the song, there's a lyric that says it was a very good year for City.
Oh my god. Should we send this in to Punch Up the Jam? See if we can get a shout out?
God, Demi and Meow guest on City Girls Make Do Challenge. Like,
I mean, we talk about like edging and snail trail was about the same amount, so.
Yeah, exactly. Like, same kind of humor. I feel like we're on like the same playing field, you know, and we're just as funny as them, like, you know, professional comedians.
We are professional Vine comedians. We're we're a little bit you know, newer. We're TikTok comedians.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But also everyone like listen to Punch Up the Gem if you're not already listening to it. I started listening to all their Patreon bonus episodes like today, and they're really fucking funny. So, but anyway, that's an aside, I guess. But yeah, so part of the song, he never says the City Girls line in the song because it cuts out before then, but I was very pleased to see that it was a good year for City Girls, and you know what? It was.
It always is.
It always is. But yeah, like Carrie fucking loves this. Like she kind of laughs at first because it's just so startling that he do this, but then she's just smiling the whole way, and she eats the shit up. So
yeah, she does that. Oh, don't you dare sing for me thing. But yeah. I mean, he's not a good singer. I don't know if it's him acting like a bad singer or if he is just a bad one. But
yeah, like it's not like comically bad though, where he's just like super flat the whole time. He's just not good. So. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, so Carrie and Big's relationship is on the ups because he did the bare minimum for her and she's all happy, but meanwhile, Miranda is, this scene is so hard to watch. She's in hell, aka a comedy club.
When I was watching this scene in particular, I sort of remember this episode, like I had full flashbacks, and this is so painful. Like the guy on stage is garbage. I don't know. He's doing like a 90s kind of ironic Andrew Dice Clay thing where he's just like, pussy, dick. Isn't that humor? I mean, I know he wants to talk, but
yeah, I mean, but it's basically just like edgelord asshole humor. It's just trying to be edgy to be funny.
This motherfucker thinks he's Bill Hicks, but he's not.
No.
And he's not even Dennis Leary. He's a piece of shit.
He's a huge piece of shit. He's not funny. And like Miranda and her date both think he's just not funny at all. Like they both hate it.
Yeah. So her date, I didn't catch his name. I'm sure it's something.
It's Alan.
I was going to say, I'm sure it's something bland. But he's divorced and they met like at the supermarket. Because both of them hated designer croutons.
What is a designer crouton?
What is that?
What is that?
When has anyone ever taken any fucking notice over a crouton?
Is that like name brand crouton? Like Martha Stewart crouton? Or like, I don't...
It's just fucking bread. It's bread. You can make your own ones really easy. And I didn't even eat salads with croutons in. Like, when was the last time you had a salad with a crouton in it?
Maybe like 2 months ago.
I love how you could just remember that.
Well, I remember it because I remember like what restaurant it was at because I split a Caesar salad with my boyfriend. But that is like the only time this year I've had a salad with croutons in it because I never order Caesar salad. So
no, croutons are it's a retro ingredient.
They're just extremely used only for Caesar salad and that pretty much alone. Like I would never put croutons in any other salad. So
no.
Yeah.
If I'm having a salad, I don't want bread. I'm trying to be healthy.
I like to throw a lot of things that are not as healthy into salad, like a shitload of cheese and like nuts and stuff.
True, but then I'm like, it's a salad, it's healthy.
So these designer croutons, they both hate. And you know what? Like, as much as I hate this guy and this whole scene, I really have to just, give it to the writers for saying that the reason they bonded was because they mutually hated something. Because that, like, I try to be someone who sticks to more, like, positive things, being negative all the time. But bonding with someone over hatred is, like, the best way to become friends with someone.
That's pretty much how we bonded.
It's true. Right?
Yeah.
It's a good way to start out friendships because it's just, you've got endless stuff to talk about and it's good.
True. I love hating things with you. And it makes you feel like less of a crazy person if someone else hates something, particularly if you don't know why you hate it, but you just do.
Exactly. And then you're not putting that energy out into like the world where other people are going to feel bad about it. You're just keeping it it's good for the whole social economy of being happy. I feel happy, feel sad.
Exactly.
So this comedian is going on, and so Miranda's date gets up to pay because they're like, hey, we gotta get out of here. So he gets up and leaves, but then his phone rings while he's gone. And so the comedian is being a complete asshole because he's like, hey, Red, answer your phone. Which, okay, first of all, addressing a woman as Red, don't like it.
I'm more than just my hair color. I'm more than just brown.
Right? It's just,
well, this guy is painted as a huge asshole.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he like harasses her in front of everyone about it. And she's just like, look, it's not my phone. I'm not just going to pick it up because it's not mine. I don't know why she does answer it, because if it was me, I would just push the button that like stops it from.
Yeah, I would just push that red button on the right. That's what it's there for.
Yeah, and I'd be like, it's over. Don't worry about it. You can't pick it up and be an asshole anymore because you know exactly what's going to happen. Pick it up. So
it's just going to be, even if it wasn't who it was, it's still going to be awkward.
Yeah, there's no good end of this. It just happens to be like the scenario, though, pretty much. So, because she picks it up and like the guy puts her on the mic, and Miranda's kind of just like, hi, and then the comedian takes the phone on stage and asks calling, and it's the guy's wife.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then he proceeds to come back into the room. And Miranda is like, you said you were divorced. He said, oh, we're separated. And she's like, how about this separation? And then leaves.
Yep.
Was pretty good and funnier than any joke this comedian told.
It really was funnier. Yeah, because he's not funny at all and Miranda's a queen. But it's really gross, though, because like when he walks out the door, the comedian's like, I don't remember what the context of this was, but he says, I'll fuck you to her.
Miranda should have killed this man where he stood.
Yeah. She should have just stood there, planted her feet, and fired from her eyes and cut his head off of his shoulders.
She should have gone Super Saiyan and fucking just blew him up.
True.
Oh my god, I fucking hate this dude so much. He is, they seem to perfectly, whoever he is, he seems like a good actor because he perfectly nailed that like obnoxious underground comedian.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Like it was perfect.
Yeah, but fuck this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fuck both of them, but ugh.
And so like I don't blame Miranda for most cynical in the entire world for this whole episode because like she's dealt with some shit this plus the rest of the shit she's dealt with her entire life.
I mean, I'm 22 and I hate men, so
yeah. And Miranda is extremely I hate men this episode, and she is entirely valid for every so.
Oh yeah, if I was they, I'd be lucky I'm not just like burning them in the street.
Yeah, and it kind of seems like she's gonna do that, and I wish she would. I wish that she would burn Steve alive.
She just throws her drink on him and sets him on fire.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of a drink, it's like a Molotov cocktail.
We should write Sex and the City 3.
We should! Yeah, because breaking news, Sex and the City would have killed Mr. Big in the shower, and excuse me, I'm living a life where this has never happened. So, we're in the darkest timeline, so...
Yeah, donate to our Patreon and we will write a script for Sex and the City 3 and then send it to Kim Cattrall.
Exactly. And it's going to be Samantha is like Carrie's not even in it. Big and Carrie both die in a freak gasoline fight accident. And Samantha just is the star of the movie.
She is like 62 years old and sucking 20-year-old dicks. So yeah, and then we move on to, I don't know, this very confusing lunch because everyone seems to be eating like normal lunch food, but Miranda is eating a rice pudding.
Yeah, I have no idea what is going on with that, but it's a nice little patio lunch.
Yeah, we're outside, which is fun.
Yeah, they're having a time. Miranda's complaining about Alan, and well, her main thing is when she'd asked him how long he'd been divorced, like straight away he said 3 years, like didn't even think.
Yeah, and I think if someone had said they were separated, and I wouldn't have a big deal with that. It's weird to just lie about divorce.
Yeah, especially if you want it to go anywhere. Like if you're just trying to, hook up with someone, then I mean, just tell the truth. But like, they're clearly trying to actually go on dates and stuff. So if he's actually interested in her, I don't know why he's being upfront from the start. But
yeah, if someone said I'm separated, but she won't sign the divorce papers or it's taking a while, cool. If I know there's nothing going on, so. The weather's weird.
Yeah.
And then Charlotte tells a story.
Yeah, because Charlotte's whole thing this episode is, hope, blah, blah, blah. Because her thing is, well, maybe he really liked you and you should just give him a chance. And Miranda looks like she's going to fucking kill Charlotte. for saying this. But yeah, she goes on and tells her story about a friend of a friend. And
it's very my uncle works at Nintendo.
it is incredibly that. Charlotte's dad works for Nintendo and hooked her up with the latest copy of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And Charlotte mains Jigglypuff.
Yeah, maybe she'll try Isabella though.
Oh, yeah.
I've never played a single Smash Brothers game, but...
You are so much more valid than anyone alive.
I know that Solid Snake got cakes, so that's all I need to know.
Charlotte's whole story is about her friend of a friend who had a married man fall for her, and then he said he'd divorce his wife, and then he did divorce his wife, and then they moved to Connecticut and had a family and kids, blah, 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 and they're happily ever after, and Miranda's like, that is bullshit, that never happened.
And that doesn't happen, ever.
Yeah. I agree with Miranda. I feel like this is just absolute horseshit. This didn't happen.
I'm sure it has happened in time in memoriam, but like if you are dating someone who is married, they're never gonna divorce whoever they're married to for you. It's just not gonna happen.
Also, just the idea of dating someone who is currently in a relationship or married to someone is just, I just think that's just really shitty because, I mean, first of all, just the moral reasons behind it all and don't cheat, etc. But like also, if he's bored with his wife and wants to leave for you, who's to say he's not just going to do this again to like 5 years? You get boring, you know, like.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the issue when you're dating, like, because obviously I have friends and people who have got with someone. Like, I remember I knew this guy who got with his girlfriend while he had another girlfriend, and he would constantly talk about how like, oh, my girlfriend doesn't trust me, she always thinks I'm cheating. And then when I found out that they got together, he was cheating, I thought, oh, that's why she always thinks you're cheating, because you did it before.
Yeah, it's just such a precedent for something that you do again. Like, I don't know. It's
the thing is, I believe that, you know, maybe stuff does happen of like you are dating someone and then you meet someone else and they just light fire or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if that happens, you should just immediately break up with whoever you're dating. That's the only fair way to go about it for everyone involved.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, there's not really an option where it really makes sense unless the person you're dating is just such that, like, I don't know, like if you're in an abusive relationship where you feel like you can't really leave it, or I don't know.
Yeah, the only acceptable thing to do is to immediately break up with them if you meet someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Save the heartbreak. For both people involved, it's just shitty.
Yeah, it's just bad, and I don't know. This whole situation is bad, and Miranda has all these really shitty about him and everything, and, you know, like, Charlotte's being extremely, oh, but, you know, it can work out. These myths are not myths, they're real. And Samantha then adds in, okay, like, have you ever actually known anyone whose relationship just magically changed overnight? And Charlotte's example is Carrie and Big.
Oh.
Excusez-moi.
It literally happened for a day. It was better. For one date night, their relationship has been better than it was.
Yeah,
so
exactly. My favorite is Miranda, just like, how is it different? How is it different? I don't get it.
And then, like, Carrie is like, if you stop being so scary, I will tell you.
Oh my God. And she's like, I can't explain it. And then she tries to explain it, but literally all she's saying, I have no idea what she's saying. It's just a feeling. What?
I don't know what she's...
Clearly no one else does, because, like, you can tell by their faces that, like, Charlotte is the only person who believes her, because she's, like, smiling the whole time.
Charlotte is characterization-wise, Charlotte is the only one who would believe her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this scene is exhausting, but mostly just because I'm Miranda the whole time, and yeah. That's, like, the end of their lunch scene. And it prompts Carrie to get to, she's thinking about lots of stuff. She compares boyfriends to cyclopses.
Men be having one eye, and it's in their dick.
So true.
I realize that she does have, this is her I couldn't help but wonder moment, but she doesn't say that. So I don't know if it counts.
Well, I mean, she did say, I got to thinking, which...
I got to thinking.
It's, yeah. You know what she should call it? You know, have you seen that one picture from Disneyland that's like Pooh's Thoughtful Spot, but Thoughtful is spot Thotful? It should just be like Carrie's apartment should have a sign on her door that says like Carrie's Thoughtful Spot.
Yeah. She is like the Pooh Bear of, I wonder if we can figure this. I don't want to do it now because this is going to be a long episode, but we need to figure out which, how the 100 Acre Woods people correlate to Sex and the City.
Oh, God. I'm going to have to go hard on that one. But yeah, that's for another.
We didn't get a lot of questions, so I'll send it in as anonymous and then we'll be surprised at the end of the episode.
Okay, good. So she gets to thinking about myths and relationships, heroes, boyfriends, cyclopses, and divorce guys. Are they really that different?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. And she says, you know, like, do modern day singles and modern day myths just help us get through our random and sometimes miserable relationships?
Oh, dear. If it's miserable, break up.
Your relationships are not supposed to be miserable is the thing, Carrie. Like, you shouldn't need myths to get through them because they're not supposed to be miserable. Ugh. And then, okay, so then we finally get her question after she's on the bush with her weird philological cyclops boyfriend bullshit. And what she says is, are we willing to believe anything to date? Which
this is so sad.
Most of us are not, you know? I'm not making up things in my head about my relationship to be happy in it. I'm just happy in it. Like,
this is so sad. Alexa, play It Was a...
When I looked up that song, the first thing that came up was a Seal version of it because I guess Seal covered it.
Oh.
Like Kiss from a Rose Seal. And so I was like, is Big really singing a Seal song up on stage? But it's like, oh no, this is a cover. Okay, got it.
Listen, looking at Big, I can tell you that he only listens to Frank Sinatra.
Oh, like, literally, I'm pretty sure he's never mentioned a single other artist ever in the course of the entire show. Like, yeah.
My friend's dad asked me what my favorite, like, old-timey artist was, and I just sort of blanked, but, like, I have to make conversation with him because, you know, he's my friend's dad. I need to keep him sweet. And I was like, because I didn't want to say someone from, like, the fucking 80s and have him pull over the car and, like...
Valid. I mean, what did you say?
I said Eartha Kitt. Because I'm edgy.
Okay. I don't even know who I would say from, like, before the 70s. Because there's not... Like, I would say the oldest band that I listen to, like, sometimes, not even frequently, but sometimes is, like... And that's, like, 70s. But, like...
Yeah. I was gonna say Fleetwood Mac, and then he'd be like, oh, they're not old, and then be mad at me. So you have to say someone from, like, the 50s.
The 70s was fucking, like, 70s. Like, not really, but it was pretty much 70 years ago. So, like, it's old, okay?
Like, I was born in 96. Fucking Ace of Base is old to me.
Yeah, basically. Like, if classic rock stations are allowed to play, like, Pearl Jam now, then I'm allowed to say that, like, Fleetwood Mac is old.
Oh,
yeah.
God. Anyway, we're going with drinks.
Yeah, drinks and no talking heads.
Thank God.
Right?
Because we need to get swiftly into perhaps the highlight of this episode.
Possibly. This is possibly the wettest this episode gets at any point.
Mm-hmm. Including the end of the fucking episode where it's in the rain.
Oh yeah, it's way wetter than that. Like, think that, but it's like a hurricane, a torrential downpour. Like, it's, yeah, no.
Big yeeks.
We got some big eeks here, and, you know, I slip and slided all the way down the streets of Manhattan when I saw this cameo here.
Did you slip and slide all the way to Trump Tower?
I sure fucking did. I did. And then I burst into flames.
So, yeah, Donald Trump is here.
Mm-hmm. Like, him himself. Like, we see him.
With his fucking mullet.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's a mullet. Like, he's kind of trimmed it now, but it's straight up a mullet.
It very much is. He is. He's, like, behind Samantha.
And not in the cool Carly Rae Jepsen
No,
way.
not at all. Oh, no. If you're a man and you have a mullet, well, I don't know. I think sometimes it's ring, but I think that's because but, like... But most of the time, if you're a man with a mullet, you're on thin fucking ice. And probably because you're a hockey player, but
That's a very good joke.
I didn't mean to do it. It just happened. Yeah, so he's like behind Samantha because she's having a cocktail at the bar. It's the end of her work day. She's got a beautiful purple blazer on. And then, yeah, we see behind her Donald Trump sitting at a table. He's doing a business with some other old guy.
Yeah. So, like, here's the thing. I forgot this happened. And I I went to, like, IMDb this morning and I was like, oh, because you messaged me and I woke up and read it and I was like, oh, what's the episode today? What have we got? And I was like, oh, Donald Trump's single friend. And I thought, oh, okay. They'll probably just mention him like they did in the pilot. And then he was there and Trixie Mattel screamed.
Yeah, I fucking lost it when I saw him. I've seen the show before, but I forgot that he ever actually appeared in the show. And yeah, I also screamed because Carrie has a voiceover line that is absolutely incredibly bad on the ear to hear, which is Samantha, a cosmopolitan, and Donald Trump. You don't get more New York than that.
I mean, I guess he is very New York, unfortunately.
Not in my New York.
Unfortunately. Again, I've seen this episode, so I'm sure I just thought, oh, it's Donald Trump, that fucking waste man. But, like, he wasn't the president at the time, and he wasn't even gunning to be the president, so...
At this time, he hadn't even done, like, The Apprentice. Like, that's how long ago it was. So, yeah, I guess at that point, he was extremely just New York, so...
Yeah, and I've never even seen Home Alone 2, so it just didn't really... connect for.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I've seen it, but it's been way too long that I would remember him. So, but so Trump is his cameo. He's a wet man, so he slips out of your fingers like that. He's gone before you can even see him. So
he like shakes hand with this old dude, and then he's like, "If you need me, I'll be in my office at Trump Tower." Which is a weird thing to say. Like, if I had a building with my fucking name on it, I wouldn't be like, "Guess where I am."
What, you're not in the top of Alex Tower in the penthouse, just in your office?
Like a fucking supervillain. Literally, in the goddamn Spider-Man game, they have Wilson Fisk, aka God, what's his name? Kingpin. But basically, they have a main villain in this Spider-Man game who is his tower is exactly where Trump Tower is.
Oh, okay.
He's like a corrupt businessman who everyone fucking hates, who's like gross.
Oh, okay. So he's basically like the E-Corp of this. Like how Mr. Robot does a funny with their evil corp.
Oh yeah, it's a funny parody.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you have a building, if you have a skyscraper with your name on it, and you have a big office at the top of it, you are a supervillain. You're a fucking, Dr. Evil.
Oh, indubitably. I don't like how I said that word. Yeah, you extremely are. And yeah, it's very weird that he even has to say this thing, but I'm guessing that he was probably like, there's no way I'm going to be on your show. I can't do his voice. I'm not going to even try. There's no way I'm going to be on your show if I don't get to plug my Trump Tower, because otherwise he's probably arrogant enough to think everyone knows who he is, but he's just like, I just gotta let him know about my tower, and otherwise I won't do the cameo.
Oh yeah, I'm sure all the fucking Midwestern housewives watching this show fucking gave a shit. I hate this man. Let's move on to fucking erectile dysfunction, man.
Let's move on. Yes. So after they do their business, Trump walks away, and then this old guy who a business with him just comes up to Samantha and starts hitting on her. And he asks her if he can buy her a drink. And this guy's, like old. Like he's probably like 70, I'd say.
He's a young 72.
Oh yeah. So that's what. Yeah. Samantha says that, and okay. I wouldn't say that, but sure. She says, because he asked if he can buy her a drink. She's like, oh, I already have one, thanks. And then he says, can I buy you an island?
I mean, Samantha is doing that laugh the entire episode, which I kind of appreciate.
Yeah, because she's just like, I don't know, can you? And I really fucking hate rich people so much, because they can just, instead of having charisma or anything, they can just be like, I'm gonna buy you something so expensive that you have to like me.
And I mean, who is gonna turn that down?
Yeah, I just...
Well, I don't need an island. I can't even drive a car, let alone a boat, so... It's kind of useless to me.
I have no reason to have an island. But Samantha's like, she's into it now that she knows that there's something in it for her, because this guy's clearly got lots of money. So he introduces himself as Ed. I did not get the joke of this until nearly the end of the episode, because his name is Ed, which is like erectile dysfunction. And
you see, you pointed this out to me, and I didn't realize until I watched this episode at 11 o'clock this morning. Didn't realize until maybe like 4 o'clock in the afternoon that you meant erectile dysfunction and not eating disorder.
Oh, yeah, because I guess ED would also mean.
I guess it says a lot about me.
I mean, they're both things that get abbreviated as that, so that makes sense.
They're both kind of bad as well.
They are, yeah. They're both not great to have, and he clearly has the other of the two, though. He clearly has the erectile dysfunction, not the eating disorder, because he's like 70. And so they talk for a bunch at this bar, and it turns out, this guy's a millionaire, like multiple times over, and he's single and available, and so she's a little bit into it.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, at least she's like an adult.
Yeah.
If you're a 70-year-old man and you're trying to find a younger woman, like at least she's in probably her 40s and she's not 18.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because this could have been like extremely gross, and it kind of just looks like he's looking for like companionship with sex, but like he knows he's old, so he's not going for like the hottest youngest. He's not like Hugh Hefner being the disgusting creep imaginable. He's just a horny old guy, and I guess old guys also have needs. So
yeah, old guys need love too. And I think this also led me to think, is Anna Nicole smithing someone praxis?
Oh, I feel like it depends. Like, are you taking that wealth and redistributing it at all? Or is it entirely for yourself? Or...
Yeah, I feel like I could do that. Because if I could use... Like, what have I got on my side? I'm not very strong, and I'm not even all that smart. But I'm pretty, and I'm kind of conniving. So I probably could convince an old man to leave me his money and then redistribute it.
So it's kind of like being a slutty Robin Hood, I guess. It's kind of like if...
That's my career goals.
Yeah, like if Robin Hood was sleeping with King to get his money and then redistributed it to the poor instead of stealing it, got it through his own sexuality.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I'd be like, I need some new teeth and like maybe a pretty dress. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I'm just going to build like, I don't know, I'll become like an actual philanthropist. I don't know, build a hospital and some schools and shit.
Yeah.
Actual helpful things,
I think that's good. Like, that is praxis. I love it.
The thing about revolution is you got to find out where you fit.
And sometimes you don't fit in. Sometimes someone fits in, and that's just how it works. If you're Samantha. Carrie doesn't exactly see Samantha's view here. They go for a walk with some Starbucks, and
they have like the ice drinks from Starbucks, which is real white girl shit. Everyone talks about like, the pumpkin spice latte. No, if you're a real girl, then you drink ice cold Starbucks in fucking December.
Oh, absolutely. It looks like Samantha's drinking it looks like she's having like an orange mocha frappuccino. Like, I don't even know if those are real, but just it's like similar era to Zoolander. So I'm just like, that's what it looks like. She's drinking like an orange frappuccino-ish kind of. Like,
I love the orange mocha frappuccino because it sounds so disgusting.
It sounds so bad. Like, I personally absolutely loathe like chocolate. I think I hate that combination, and it disgusts me that it's really popular. But
coffee?
Yeah, I like coffee and chocolate.
Coffee and chocolate is delicious, but coffee and orange sounds horrible. I had an orange like maybe a couple of minutes after I had my coffee, and it was gross.
Just awful. Bad. Oh, bad. They're drinking their drinks, and walking down the street. Samantha's kind of just like, okay, well, what's your ceiling on like age? How old would you date? Carrie says, I don't know, like 50, which...
And then, Samantha's like, what if he was really rich? And Carrie goes, 50?
Yeah, so Carrie's still, she's still set on 50, I mean... Like, okay, for context, later in this episode, we find out Big is 42.
Yeah, I feel like 50 is top of the bracket. I mean, Carrie's probably like 30, early 30s.
I feel like she's probably maybe like 34. She probably isn't even halfway through yet.
No. So that's 50 and 30 is like what? 50, 20, 15 years is her max difference, which when you're 30 is, I think less of a deal, obviously. Like then now, I don't really want to date a 4-year-old.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it turns out she's dating someone who's like a decade older than her. And he's still like a baby.
Oh, he's still a man-child.
He clearly has the emotional maturity of just a piece of garbage, because he is a piece of garbage. But it's really bad. But at least Carrie, Carrie's got her limit. And so Samantha's then just like, well, I met the cutest older man. And Carrie asks him, how old is he? Like 50? Samantha kind of is just quiet, sipping on her drink. Carrie's like, okay, 60? Like, is he on Medicare?
And then she goes, and then she's still sipping on this drink. And Carrie has to say, 70?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is where we find out Sam's best guess is that he's about 72, young 72.
I don't know what a young 72 is, but...
Yeah, I mean, there are old people who, like, you'll be 70 and, that's not... You're still in pretty good health. But then there's some people who are 70 who have, like, very, functionality and stuff. I mean, 70 might... Well, I don't know. But... So I feel like maybe she just means he's in...
My grandmother's 90 and she's still pretty, up and at him for her age.
Yeah, and so there's lots of other people the same age who might look less active or less whatever this guy is. So maybe that's what she means. I don't know. Then Samantha says, your silence reeks of ageism.
When in doubt, just accuse someone of ageism.
Just pull that ageism card out.
I love when people use ageism because most of the time, it's not.
Most of the time it really isn't. And in this case, it's like, I mean, okay, so it's a personal preference, but it's not even just a preference. It's one of those things too that's like someone that much older than you probably has different priorities in their life than you.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be 10 years down the road having your husband in a home or dying when you're like 50. I mean, like it happens, but
no,
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a big commitment to date someone who is that much older than you.
Yeah, it's like, you adopt a 13-year-old cat, I mean, you know that you don't have a full life with this cat, right? Like, I mean, I think it's very noble to do that. But you know that the medicals are going to come in sooner than they would if you got a kitten.
Dating is just like adopting a cat.
It's exactly the same. I think I've said it before. Adopt, don't shop. So
true. Adopt old people.
This metaphor is so bad, and it does not make any sense.
Not at all, but it's fine. You're still valid.
I don't know where I'm going with this, but anyway. Okay, so Carrie's like, okay, well, are you guys gonna have sex? And Sam's like, well, we haven't discussed it yet. So, and then Carrie says, are you seriously saying you'll have sex with a senior?
I mean, he's like an old man. Like, you can still have sex with him. He's still
a human. Yeah.
Yeah, they are treating this like he's some gargoyle. He's just old.
Yeah, and this whole story is so fucking stupid.
It's so stupid. I don't know why they did this, but they did. So we have to talk about it.
They sure did it. And like Samantha says something that I don't like to hear, where she says, "You know what they say? All cats look the same in the dark."
Using cats like it's the fucking 1960s as well.
Why would you compare old people to cats? Come on.
I think she's saying cat like in the slang term.
That's true. I think she is. She probably picked that up from him because he likes to use the word cat like that. So, because he likes to use super fucking old expressions that she calls him on.
This episode is entirely about dating guys who only speak in like 1940s references.
Honestly, it truly is. Every single part of it. Well, that's their whole scene. Exhausting.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to the episode where Carrie dates a guy who's in a fucking jazz band.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about that. I'm gonna kill myself.
Let's move on. We show so much of the episode.
Oh my god, I know. Okay, so the next scene, Carrie's at Biggs. Oh my god, why does this keep getting worse? This is just... Carrie's at...
Oh, she's eating veal. Our good friend Josh.
Oh, yeah, friend of the show, Josh Veal. Not to dox you, but your full name's on Twitter. What? I don't care.
He's like known by his fucking full name.
I know. I don't even give a shit. You're whatever. So Carrie's at Biggs. Big is preparing a Josh Veal to eat, and his hands are all covered in stuff. And so Carrie leans over and gives him a puff on her cigarette. Like she holds it to his face, and then he like blows smoke rings out, and then to pop them. And it's like,
isn't smoking sexy? Like it's weird. Like even as someone who smokes, I don't think it's sexy.
Yeah, like I hate it, and I feel like doing smoke tricks is also incredible, like incredibly 1950s type thing. Like, I mean,
like, vape tricks are the fucking the true Chad. If this was 2018, he's doing vape tricks on Instagram, then I support it. But otherwise, I'm not interested.
No, otherwise, no. Yeah, he's preparing veal, and Carrie basically is like, "Hey, so I've got a request, and I want you to get to know my friends better." And so then Big decides to list off all the things he knows about her friends, because he's like, "Oh, I know them fine."
Yeah. Miranda's the redhead, Charlotte's the brunette, and Samantha's trouble. Ha 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 ha.
I was expecting him to be like, Samantha's horny. So, trouble is on the tamer end of what I expected, but
yeah.
Then she's like, "Oh, well, okay then. I want them to know you better."
He didn't say Samantha's a big fat dick pig, but
could you fucking imagine? Carrie probably would have just let it slide. She probably would have been like, "It's fine if my friend calls my best friend's names."
Yeah, well, she didn't seem to even be that bothered, but
no.
He's just shrugging off. He's like, "Oh, I know them." And, I hate this guy.
I hate it because she clearly wants this. It's important to her, and she says that what she wants is for them to all have dinner on Saturday night at a place called Denial.
And they literally just called it Denial so they could make puns.
Oh, literally. Yeah. The second they called it this, I was like, wow, so like her entire relationship. Wah, wah.
Yeah. You can just sit here and make jokes. I'm sure someone in the writer's room was like, "Wouldn't it be funny if it was called Denial? Because that's like a silly name for a restaurant." Like, I hate this. I hate it.
It's not fucking funny. Yeah, then Big is just like, okay. And then Carrie gets a call, and it's Miranda. So Miranda's like waiting for her at a bar. She's been waiting for a while and is like, "Where are you?" So,
this really pissed me off. Carrie's a horrible friend.
Carrie is the worst friend possible. Like, this is so shitty.
She's like, "Oh, I left a message on your machine or something."
Yeah.
And she says, Big called and said that he was going to cook, so she just bounced on her friend.
Yep, she just completely bailed to eat some Josh Veal and left Miranda hanging at this bar. Carrie is responsible for Steve. Carrie's responsible for Steve.
And then Big is responsible for Steve too. Oh, God. Okay. Yeah. Miranda is like, "You stood me up for politically incorrect meat."
True.
It's like a good thing to call veal, because when they said they were eating it, I was like, that's kind of a shitty thing to eat, isn't it?
It kind of is. You know why she called it that? I think she called it that because it voted for John McCain back in like 2012.
You should probably tell him that he's mentioned quite a lot this episode, but
you'll have to do it.
God.
Yeah, but I really did like that they called it that. I've never had veal before. I've never had any appeal to eat it. I don't know.
No, it was weird. Like, I mean, I feel like, you know, how we have kind of an arbitrary, like, this meat is acceptable to eat and this meat isn't factor, you know?
Yeah.
But the other day I found venison in our fridge and I was really upset because I was like, you can't eat venison. But then I haven't eaten meat in like 7 years, so why do I give a shit?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a difference with veal from other meats because it kind of is like, well, if you're going to kill an animal for food, you should at least get as much meat out of it as you can, right? So, like, if you're going to take a life from something, at least you know, don't just do it at like
when they're babies.
Yeah, it seems extremely wasteful. Like if you're gonna take a life from something, at least make it go a long way.
And it's like animal cruelty as well. Like, I mean, give them as long of a life as possible. Why not?
Yeah. Overall, it's not great, but I wouldn't expect any better from Big, so.
No, Big doesn't give a shit about animals.
No.
Fuck that guy.
Big is like, I kill fucking baby cows. I kill baby cows with my bare hands. Yeah. He's Cartman from that one episode of South Park, except for in the seals, it's cows. So
you think Big only eats meat like fucking Jordan Peterson?
You know that Big in 2018 beat all the fuck over. And
how do they do that? How are they not dead?
I have no idea. I mean, they are getting like scurvy. So
how do you get scurvy in 2018?
Because you're a fucking idiot who doesn't believe in feminism, eats meat and nothing else. If it's 2018 and you refuse to eat a vegetable, then I'm sorry, but maybe you deserve to have scurvy.
If you get scurvy in 2018, then you deserve it.
You have to. There's no way to get scurvy unless it's literally because the only given to you is something that someone else is that you have no control over.
Like, unless you have no control. If you can walk to a supermarket and buy food and you get scurvy, then you deserve it.
Like, even if you're so poor that the only thing you can afford is like, you know, like shitty ramen, like Chef Boyardee, you're not going to get scurvy from that.
They're true. There are vegetables in it.
You have to be spending money to buy specifically just meat, which costs more than like the cheapest foods you can buy.
True. Meat is expensive. This is perhaps our hottest yet truest take.
It's true. Meat is expensive. It is a burden on the world. Like, I do eat meat, but
it's bad for the environment.
It is incredibly bad for the environment. It's true.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's unrealistic for everyone to stop eating meat and go vegan. That's kind of ridiculous. But, you know, maybe have a couple of days a week where you don't eat meat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, please don't eat anything but meat. First of all, it's terrible for the environment. It's terrible for your body. And also, it's just like unethical. I don't know. Everything about it's bad. Fuck you, Jordan. Eat my entire ass.
He would, because that's me.
I'm so tired.
Gosh, should we move on to Steve?
Yeah, okay. So Miranda freaks out at Carrie because she's like, this is bullshit that you blew me off. And so they hang up and Big asks Carrie, like, oh, is everything okay? And Carrie's like, oh yeah, everything's fine, because she's a liar, so... Everything's fine, I said, you know, like a liar. And then we go over to Miranda, and so Miranda's clearly pissed off. She is sitting at the bar, and the bartender is Steve.
It's Steve. I mean, we keep saying it's Steve, but for anyone who doesn't know, Steve plays a pretty big part in like Miranda's overall arc within the show. But for now, he's just an annoying manlet.
He's very annoying. Yeah. He's kind of like, I can't try to describe him, people who haven't seen him, like, oh, no, okay. Did you see that one picture of Nick Kroll that looked just like Steve? Like, it was ridiculous. I saw the picture and I was like, that's Steve from Sex and the City. He had like the very curly hair. It was, you know, not like long and curly, but it was like short and curly. And then he had the exact same glasses on and they have the exact same kind of just like nice.
Yeah. He's Nick Kroll if he wasn't funny and wore glasses.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. He thinks he's funny though. So, because he's a man.
I mean, we'll get more into this, but I kind of realized why I dislike Steve, and it's because he's essentially a Woody Allen protagonist.
Whew. Okay, that's a take, and I am here for it.
Think about it. He's doing a bit of a Woody Allen shtick.
Yeah, he kind of is. He's kind of... I hate everything about his I guess it's supposed to be his charm that he has, maybe. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't find it charming, but
he's like, oh, I like to date women who are taller than me, and I'm neurotic, and I'm from New York, and
yeah,
I'm short, I wear glasses, I'm kind of nerdy looking. Like, he's not a child molester, but he's that same kind of, like, fucking whiny, like, beta male bullshit that, like, gave a lot of men. Like, the thing with Woody Allen that pisses me off outside of him being a evil person is, like, he made movies for guys who are fucking pieces of shit and think nothing is their fault.
Oh, yeah. One of my friends described the plot of the only Woody Allen movie she's ever seen before, and I have no idea which one it is, but I heard the entire plot that she described, and I wanted to jump out of the train I was riding it. Like, it was so bad that I was like, literally, only a man would. There's not a single woman who would find this interesting.
Like, I have no redeeming qualities, but these beautiful women fall in love with me.
Yeah, absolutely. And she also said, like, and the woman who was in the movie that he left his wife for, who had, like, 2 lines in the entire movie.
Ugh. I fucking hate it.
I hate it.
Ben shouldn't be allowed to write anything in a while. I keep seeing this poster around town for, like, this play, and it has, like, 12 men in the cast, and it's written and directed and produced by men. And I'm like, fucking die.
It's so true. It's exhausting. Like, seeing something that is produced and made only by men. Like, that's why I didn't listen to the McElroys for so long. Because I was like, I just don't want to listen to something that is only 3 guys talking and has, like, no wit and is just a bunch of nerdy guys talking about shit. And it's like, okay, they are funny.
Yeah.
But, like, I put it off for so long. And I really had to have a lot of people be like, okay, like, I totally get that, but they actually are pretty funny before I ever gave them a shot. Like,
sometimes men are okay. I like We Hate Movies and everything. But, you know, if I have to read another script or watch another fucking movie where a woman has, like, 2 lines, gets pregnant and then dies, I'm gonna fucking go ballistic.
Fucking ugh. So this is why we hate Steve.
Also, yeah, so she's like, get me another wine. And he's like, please. And she says my favorite line in the episode, which is, are you allowed to speak to me like that?
I did like that.
Like, okay, don't be a dick to your servers, but also...
But it's Steve, so, like, yeah. She's, like, clearly just not amused, and he's like, you know, can I have another glass of please? And then she's just, like, he gives it to her, and he keeps teasing her. Like, she says, thank you, and then he says, ooh, Steve.
He's a fucking creep, because basically he decides that, like, he likes her, so he starts flirting with her. Essentially, that's the whole thing of when he's like, please. He's just trying to flirt, and then he's like, oh, by the way, my name's Steve. And then he coyly asks if she has a boyfriend.
Yeah, she doesn't like it at all. And then she even has to be like, look, I'm not a total bitch. I just had a fight with someone. So, like, excuse me for not, like, enjoying you trying to be so.
That's true. She's obviously pissed off. Don't try and flirt with someone that angry.
Yeah. And I guess the thing that works is because, you know, she says she had a fight and he says boyfriend, and she's like, that's none of your business. And then he's like, girlfriend? Butcher? And she's like, butcher? What? And so he says, you know, well, I guess because of I guess I wasn't right. And then so she thinks this is kind of charming, I guess. This is where she kind of smiles. Okay.
It's very charming. I mean, it's not, but...
Yeah. This is where she engages with him. She asks him what he's reading because book at the bar, and he makes a funny joke. He says, The Joy of Bartending, Hemingway.
Isn't he actually reading that, though?
I don't know. I don't think that's an actual Hemingway book. I don't know.
I didn't Google it. I don't read fucking Hemingway.
I tried to Google it, but I was like, Hemingway can eat my butt, so I didn't look that hard.
Oh, it's a real book.
It is? Okay. Miranda was like, so you think you're funny?
I feel like, do you think you're funny is such a hilarious thing to say to someone, because it's so mean.
It really is. And then so Steve is like, okay, the wine's on me. He comes up to her and she's just like, why would you do that? And he basically says, it's a bribe so that you'll hang out with me and talk to me.
Okay, this pissed me off because the reason he wants to talk to her is because otherwise he'll have to listen to the NYU grads talk about Fiona Apple.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with Fiona Apple, you goddamn cretin?
I feel like he's the kind of person who's probably just like, oh, I hate those fucking whatever they call people before hipsters existed.
Yeah.
I hate these.
Fiona Apple has more depth in her left toe than Steve has in his entire body.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But Steve, Steve had to make a funny joke. And, I hate this, but you can tell Miranda thinks he's kind of cute at this point. She's kind of falling for this. She likes it. Ugh. And then so after he's off work, they go back to Miranda's place. They have sex.
As Carrie says in her voiceover, Steve served Miranda 2 orgasms straight up. Good for him, I guess.
She got a double. And okay.
She got the right double.
So what I didn't get about this is, so Steve's on top of her and they're both under the covers, and then we get the camera and it pans down to their feet, and then Steve's feet are on the outside and Miranda's feet are on the inside, but Miranda's feet are like together, like next to each other side by side, but he's also inside of her. So are her legs even spread at all? Like how are they having sex?
Rubbing against her belly button.
I feel like that's the only way this makes physical sense, because there's no way that they're having sex if her feet are together. Unless she's got her feet together, but then her knees are spread apart like a frog kind of pose.
Oh, that just seems like a weird position to be in.
Yeah, I can't imagine how this is working. Like, I realize that they're not actually having sex to the scene. But,
it made me believe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to believe, but like, also, I don't know. There's nothing good about this. This is bad.
You're right. It's not great.
But apparently he's really good at doing the sex, so that's her, I guess. I'm going to pass out.
This must be what marathon runners feel like.
Honestly, this is just, take after take after take, when there's not a single time to catch a breather here. Like, there's not a single scene that's just like a nice reprieve from the madness. It just goes on and on.
No, because then we finish the sex and he wants to see her again. He's like, can I get your number? And she's just like, this was a one-night stand.
Oh my God. And he says, that was really special.
Ugh.
Can we also say that, like, the whole time we say this, I don't think yet we've mentioned that Steve has, like, an incredibly, Brooklyn accent?
He's very Brooklyn. He's very like, I'm from Brooklyn.
Yeah, he's like, I'm walking here.
He does. I forget how strong his accent is, but it is kind of ridiculous.
He's got quite the accent. Incredibly. Make sure you're imagining about Steve when we talk about it. Says that was really special.
Hey, I'm walking him.
That's what he says to Miranda.
Hey, I'm coming here.
Miranda, he calls her a pisser. And
what's that mean?
Maybe it's Brooklyn something. Maybe that's what everyone in Brooklyn.
Does she? Maybe she squirt.
Worse. And then he says she should just come by the bar again. She's not giving him. And then Miranda says goodbye, and she's clearly just like dim time and like, okay, bye, great sex. And like Steve just leaves and laughs.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like it. So let's move on to Samantha.
Episode that kills you when you live it.
Yeah, so she's at Ed's place and they're having dinner in his fancy, what do they call it, a dining room?
It's like a big ass dining room. Like, it's so big that they're like opposite.
How do you have a conversation?
I have no idea. Especially, he's like 70. He probably needs hearing aids from a foot away. Like, I mean, if you're in my family, 40.
Yeah, you're deaf now.
I'm deaf now, and I'm not even 30 yet. Maybe this guy's got incredible.
Maybe. Yeah. So his like maid, I guess, who seems to be about as old as him, like brings out the napkins, I suppose. And Samantha opens hers, and there's a bracelet in it. It's diamond.
Yeah, Samantha like school. She's so excited.
I mean, hey. It's a lot of diamonds.
I mean, it is a lot of diamonds. Like, this is some pretty so.
And then
the maid rolls her eyes at this because,
Yeah.
like, this is clearly played out. Like, I'm sure he's done this.
and I bet these are blooming cubic zirconia.
Ugh.
And then he's like, he's playing a fucking game. And he's like, oh, that's weird. He opens his, and there's a pair of earrings in it, and she squeals again.
Huge diamonds.
And then he lifts up his cloche, and it's like signaling, I guess trying to get her to open up hers. And she does, and it's a necklace, and it's like a matching set, which is
Oh, yeah.
also very retro.
Extra. And then Samantha is so happy that clapping. She's clapping and squealing. She's so happy.
I think, yeah. I mean, at the very least, she can pawn this shit and probably get a few bucks.
Oh, for sure. Like, at least she's getting something out of it. Because, yeah, that's what she... So...
I mean, my favorite episode, 90 Day Fiancé. It's like a show on TLC where they have people, like, it's Americans and then, like, foreigners, and then clearly getting married for visas.
Okay.
It's very awkward. They had one woman on it who was pretty honest about the fact that she was clearly marrying this dude for money. And she pointed out that, like, he was only interested in her because she was hot, and she was only interested in him because he had money.
I guess they're both getting out of it what they want.
I mean, it's true. So it's an exchange at the end of the day.
Yep. And Samantha is, she's happy about this. So that's... And then...
It's something. I like seeing her happy. I don't like the circumstances, but...
Yeah. Eat their 6-course...
I couldn't do that.
Yeah. God, same. And then, okay, so then he starts putting, like, I don't even... And she's on the couch, and he comes up, and both got their... He says something dumb that... Oh, he says... I used cats, and he's talking about music.
Yeah, he's doing the old, like, jazz and cognac move. It's weird.
Yeah, it sure is something. And but then he's kind of like, okay, I'm going to be straight up with you. I'm going to lay my cards on the... And what he says is, I know I've only got a few more good years left, like 10 to 12 tops. Samantha's like, oh, no.
She is so playing dumb.
It's so funny. He says, oh, no, don't, I know. And then he's like, I just want someone to have fun with.
And
yeah,
at least he's being honest. I
yeah,
appreciate that.
he's saying what he wants. He's straightforward. You feel like you have to do that. You have to be upfront. He says he'll for a while because he knows, you could get any guy. I'm going to make it. And then he says, I've got a pocket Viagra. He grabs her hand and puts it on his crotch.
You said that so coyly.
Yeah, she puts it on his, yeah. The thing is, I don't like to think about that. But he did.
Old man penis? You don't like to think about that?
He run off. Samantha's like, I think it's better dark.
Yeah, she's very insistent they need to have sex in the dark.
Yeah.
They do, and as Carrie's voiceover states, it turns out that not only do all cats look the same in the dark, but they feel the same in the dark. Oh, in case I sleep with an old man, thank you.
Yeah. And they also just weird thing growl at each other. Like,
oh yeah, she like purrs at him like a cat for some reason. I love it.
Yeah, like, and then he does the same thing back, and it's so much. So
yeah,
we don't see it's not like our typical.
Oh, but we do see something.
Oh, we do see something. Yep.
So they're like, I don't think they've initiated sex yet, but he takes a break to go to the little boy's room, and he turns on the light, and Samantha sees his saggy old man ass.
We see it, not just Samantha. The whole world saw his flappy ass.
Oh, it's not great.
It is like if your butt cheek by plastic bag.
Like, I mean, aging is a natural thing. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, of course not.
I had, when I was on the IMDb page, they pointed out that, like, this was a body double, so I'm sure they got, like, the flabbiest ass they could find.
Yeah, I'm sure they did it. Like, they did this on purpose, like, as they possibly did, I guess. And, like, okay, so then we see Samantha's face, and she's so horrified that she runs out of the apartment, and, like, apparently later she tells him she had a bad reaction.
She's so disgusted.
Yeah, so apparently this is what Flappy runs away.
It's like Flappy Bird.
Oh, could you imagine Flappy Bird, but every time you tap, it's just the ass Flappy.
be a better game.
That would kill her on.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Give us, I don't know, the the writing credits for Sex and the City 3 and also Flappy Bird sequel.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the end of Samantha's story, I think. Yeah, and I finally made it to 4 of mine, so we're getting there.
Yeah, I mean, I kept this brief because I knew I wasn't leading.
Yeah.
It was a tough time.
It is tough. Okay, so now it's Saturday afternoon. Miranda's in her apartment reading her paper, and Steve buzzes her door, and she lets him in. So he buzzes, and he says, "It's Steve." And she says, "Steve who?"
Okay, as someone with a very popular name, this happens.
Yeah, it does happen. Although, to be fair, they did sleep the other day.
Oh, but she's already forgotten it because who cares?
Yeah, true. So she lets him up, and because he's like, "Oh, it's bartender." When he gets up, she's like, "Did you leave something? Or, like, what are you doing?" And Steve's, "Oh, well, I didn't have your number, and I wanted to tell you that I like you." And Miranda's super science, and she just thinks he's trying to, like, no, it's not like that.
Yeah, it's not like that. Hey, my mom or my papa.
I just want to have dinner with you. How about tonight? And so Miranda's like, "Look, I got plans," because she does. She's got plans tonight with her friends. And like, "Okay, well, my buddy works there. I'll meet you for a drink. What time should I?" So she says 7. He's like, he starts to leave.
But then he like twists back round and he's like, "What's the real time?" And she begrudgingly says 9.
Like, okay, if you have to go through this much work to get a girl to go out with you, doesn't want to.
And like, I guess this was a thing before like phones and social media became a thing, but showing up at someone's apartment to try and sleep with them again seems kind of shitty.
Like, this can get into her, but it's, look, if she wants to see you again, she will go out of her way to do it. She knows.
Yeah, and she knows where you work.
Yeah, so chill, Steve. And so they've got that set up. So now we get our preamble. Big's supposed to meet all the friends.
So yeah, Carrie shows up at 8:15 to Big's place for a drink, and then they'll move on to Denial.
Move on to Denial? I thought they were already there.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, and she's got this really nice, like, dress on. Very
yeah, it kind of reminded me because, like, Samantha's wearing kind of similar, like, metallic bodycon, like, spaghetti strap mini dress.
Yeah, she's pretty dressed up, and it looks nice, but then Big opens the door, and he is, like, iggly not dressed. Like, he's got his big shirt flopping it. He looks...
He's wearing boxers.
Carrie's like, "Hop to it. You're not ready to meet my friends."
Yeah, Carrie's obviously very disappointed, and he's like, "Oh, do you mind if we don't go tonight? I had a long day, and I'm kind of tired." Making excuses.
Yeah, it's...
Carrie's upset, but she just kind of accepts it, really.
Yeah, like, you can tell from her she's fucking so disappointed. But then she basically turns around and walks out the door. Like, she can't even look him in the eyes because she says, "I'm afraid I'd turn to stone if I looked him in the eyes."
It's like Medusa. Because we're doing that myth thing again, which hasn't really been that solid of like a I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't. None of Carrie's like metaphor or allegory. They never fucking, like, they're always so, they like half work. But yeah, she turns around and walks right out the door. She walks down to the restaurant. It's not even raining yet, by the way, because Big is like, "Oh, it's good."
So Carrie leaves, and she calls him a 42-year-old baby.
Yeah, well, not to his face, but
no. I wish it was to his face. Fucking son of a bitch.
I wish it was. No, it's her good voiceover. She says, "I'd never heard a self-centered 2-year-old baby magically turned into that you could bring out in public."
It's
like,
so mean, and that's why she should say it to his face.
What did he say to his face? Like him. A piece of shit. Okay, so they get to the restaurant. 4 girls are... Charlotte's like, "Oh, okay, wait. One other thing that I wanted to say earlier in this episode is that..." Okay, so this was a long time ago, but when Big was at Big's house, Miranda calls her. Carrie says, "Oh, I'm just at Big's." For the first time, I think she's in front of.
To his face. I guess find me a guy that's gonna be disappointed if you call him Big as a nickname.
I feel like if I was him, though, that seems like the kind of teasing. Be like, "Oh, what does that mean?" That you'd think that would happen. I don't know. I thought it was really weird to hear.
Yeah, which also seems weird. Like, imagine if I was dating someone and they had a nickname which they didn't call me to my face, I would probably be upset about that.
I know, true. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's stupid. The whole reason... I get why they do it, but it's so... And the roundabout way, yeah, they get around it. Okay, so they get to the restaurant. So Charlotte asks to arrive, and Carrie basically doesn't have it lie and say, so she kind of, well, not lie. She doesn't have it in her to tell the truth they're not coming.
Yeah, she says, oh, he's coming from work. I don't know when he'll get there.
Yeah, so Steve shows up and next to their table, and he makes like, oh, if you want good service, send a bartender. And then Miranda's like, if you want good sex, go home with one. No one thinks this is funny. Like, Miranda's laughing, and Steve and the girls are all just silent.
And then Steve is like, Miranda, could I talk to you? Because that's a weird thing to say about someone.
Steve asks Miranda, why do you hate guys?
Which is, so inflammatory.
Why do you think? And then he pulls the real shit. And this reminded me a lot of the Jam episode. They talk about Daughters by John May, which is like, oh, I know I wasn't fucked you up. Some other guy before me fucked you up, and that's why you can't love.
Nothing is ever my fault. I am a man.
Yeah, because he says, he basically says, I know we just met, so I know it ain't about,
Oh, God. Yeah. I mean, he's technically right, but that's a shit thing to say to someone.
Yeah, and also, okay, did just meet, but she's known you long enough to not like you have slept together. Like, it's not like you just, she's known you long enough to have an opinion. Like,
and I don't think it was even a bad thing. It was a joke. God, let it go.
Yeah, and then he just goes off about how he's like, I just want to get, like, why don't you believe that I like you and not just hook up with you? Miranda says something which is a little bit hard. She says, maybe I've just,
ugh, meow.
I think that was maybe, but.
And I don't think she slept with that many bartenders.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit, but.
Yeah.
She goes back to her table. She's really upset. She's like, ugh, Steve kind of comes back up to the heads out, drops a I guess. And Carrie's just like, before.
I get it. Yeah, Charlotte's like, oh, is Big not gonna come? But wait.
Well, yeah, because Miranda is all playing the cynical. She's like, I knew it. Big isn't coming. Men are shit. She's not wrong. She's right.
Yeah, she didn't lie.
Yeah.
And then Charlotte's like, look, there he is. And like Prince Charming, he arrives and it's in slow-mo and there's like music playing and he walks down the stairs and
such shit how it's. So I wrote down in my big Ex Machina and
fucking
Carrie turns around. Oh, you like see her smiling the biggest tire, proud because the bar is on. And
he's the limbo champion of Manhattan.
Then Miranda, like, of heart over, suddenly been overturned. Big showed up and did some garbage or fire. So she goes to run after Steve, and she like just entirely her friends just to go chase after.
I mean, citation needed that men aren't shit, but
yeah.
Yeah, and it's in the rain because they pointed out earlier that like all dating urban legends, they meet back up in the rain. It's so romantic and
yeah, Carrie's voice one night. Yeah, she's like, Steve. Yeah, it's like training, and then he's got this ugly. He turns around and they have this dramatic.
He looks like a goddamn 80-year-old man in this fucking trench coat. And like with his glasses and his curly hair, like he looks like an old man. He's like, oh, hello.
I mean, he's a step up from Spud, but that's
he's like Skipper's fucking pokey Lucian.
Yeah, if Skipper evolved, he would evolve into. Yeah, so Miranda just abandons, and then basically the end of the episode, Big stand chatting was, and him and Carrie are just laughing a bunch, and big ass Samantha. Oh, did you ever go home, or did you ever get it on with that old coot?
And Samantha's face drops.
Yeah. Yeah. And the very last thing on the episode where it says that was they stopped being, which, what does that mean? You've been dating for so long. And he called you girlfriend. Were you not real then? You're not real.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions, but okay.
I have a lot of questions, but I don't
know.
This episode was exhausting to get through.
Yeah, I feel, I mean, like, okay, yeah, it is late for me, but I do feel like I could fall asleep right.
Yeah, it's probably for the best that we only have one question.
Thank God. I mean, I did ask for questions, but if we had a lot and this episode is like 2 hours long, I couldn't.
Oh God. So I guess we should get into rank on forward. Who were top of the...
Then I guess Miranda, on a technicality, because she spent most of the episode hating men and being sarcastic, which is prime Miranda. Then I guess Samantha, And then Charlotte, because she did jack shit, but I still like her. And then Carrie, because Carrie's always at the bottom when Big is involved.
I have the exact same. And I feel like the reason Charlotte is kind of saying happily ever after. They're actually so
don't encourage that behavior.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to treat people like they're children, and when they act up, you just ignore them.
Yeah, like if you're not gonna have on the side and but all right, so to question one question. Those questions, send them to cgirls.tumblr.com/ask or send there.
Yeah, we don't check that, so good luck.
Yeah, I check it sometimes, but not on purpose. But all right, so we got one question this week, and it is from friend of Sam, co-host of one of my favorite podcasts, Jurgen, the podcast about. She has a nice sister podcast to. So anyway, Sam is positive stress. He sends us a question that's, who is wetter, our president or Samantha? I want to start out by saying he is not neither of us. He's not either of us. So
no.
But
I wish Samantha was our president.
yeah.
Like, I mean, Kim Cattrall is, I think, Canadian and British, which means we perfectly represent her on the show. Queen. So she couldn't be president, but it would be a better country if she was.
It really would be. I mean, anything would be a step up at this point. But so to seriously answer your question, I feel like most of the time I would say Samantha, but in this episode in particular, I feel like Samantha.
No, and she's going to be approaching menopause in a few years, so.
You know, the thing you gotta know about Donald is that he's soaking wet. Like, I don't think you'd get a higher water being if you tried. So I think Samantha didn't stand a chance. It really mattered. It's not a fair con.
No, there's no one wetter than the president, even Shamu.
Yeah, not even. I can't believe how wet he is. You know what? Fuck you for asking it. For having the audacity to think that anybody would be wetter than Donald Trump. I love that this episode is just a fucking takedown of all our friend, the host's Pokemon going to die.
Yeah, who's next? Who's ready for the execution block? You wanted one host to die? Well, all of them are gonna die, except me, because I'm immortal.
It's only the men, don't worry.
God, I've had a fucking nervous breakdown.
I think we're all having. So I guess that's probably a pretty good place to wrap it, because we've been recording for, well, not as long as I thought, but still for a while. So
it feels like 4 hours.
It really truly does, and it probably feels like listening to this for 4 hours. We'll give you a nice break for next week.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, especially if you are Josh. Thank you so much.
Who just dogs you?
Yeah. And I'm so happy still listening to our ridiculous show.
Yeah, this is episode 20. Wow. We did it, folks.
If you want to find me online, Age of Audition, you can find me Windfall Island Tumblr.
Yeah, and I'm at Dork Phoenix on Tumblr. Doesn't seem like Tumblr's getting shut down, so if it does, then I'll have to promote my Instagram.
Because of all that porn we... It's okay. I won't. Also, go to noisepace.xyz. Check out the podcast. They're good.
Yeah, don't get scurvy.